Hello, everybody. My name is Karin Tischler. I am really honored to be part of the speakers of the International Podcast Day 2020 on September 30th. Thank you so much to Steve and Dave Lee for creating this wonderful day. Since its inauguration, there have been hundreds of live stream hours podcasted by podcasters from more than 70 countries around the world. Now, why am I so enthusiastic to be part of the International Podcast Day event? There are at least three main reasons. First of all, I consider myself an international or a global citizen. I grew up in Germany, and since then, for the past 30 years, have lived in 3 English-speaking countries, in the UK, in the US, and now here in Vancouver, Canada. The next reason is that my podcast, Job Sharing and Beyond, is global in its reach and the methods that are being presented. My guests so far since its inauguration in March of this year have been from 8 different countries across 4 different continents. Last but certainly not least, my listeners are also from all over the world. So far, we have listeners from 19 different countries across 5 different continents. Now, the goal of my podcast, Job Sharing and Beyond, is for the listeners to not have to reinvent the wheel, but instead to listen to potential best practice methods and examples in other countries and organizations so that they can take that principle and idea and create something similar in their own organization. And who knows, maybe potentially collaborate with the person or organization whose best practice method they had listened to. So now I'm sure you are wondering, what are the topics that the guests are talking about on the podcast? There are 4 main categories. My guests are international experts, business leaders, academics, and practitioners in flexible working, fathers and care, supporting professionals returning back to the paid workforce after a long period of absence, and finally, transferable business skills from unpaid care work. Why are these topics so important to me? I strongly believe to get to gender equality, which is also the Sustainable Development Goal number 5, faster than the currently predicted roughly 100 years, there has to be more flexible working available. And why is this? Because, for example, job sharing would allow a mother to continue with her professional career at the same time as having work-life balance. However, it is important to point out that flexible work is not just for female professionals, because if only female professionals are taking flexible working, it often can lead to a mommy track or to a part-time trap. So therefore, it is important to have male role models who talk about how they themselves are caring, for example, for children and are also having a part-time career or doing job sharing. Besides flexible working because of a work-life balance, the reason, for example, people do job sharing is because they might be writing a book, they might be doing additional education, they may want to set up a side hustle, or it might be somebody who is planning to retire in the near future and therefore would prefer to work fewer hours and also enabling by doing so to transfer some of the experience he or she might have had during his or her whole career to somebody else who might be younger. Prior to COVID-19, many organizations across many different countries were struggling to find skilled professionals in the war for talent. However, few organizations were looking into the untapped potential of the workforce, that is, the professionals trying to return back to the paid workforce after a long period of absence. And why is this? Because A, these professionals often still required flexible working to have a work-life balance. And then the second thing, often these years during unpaid care work were perceived as a career gap. Instead of looking at it what it truly is, these years have been an opportunity to hone in on transferable business skills such as empathy, flexibility, patience, time management, multitasking, and many more. So enabling everybody to work more flexible and therefore sharing care work more equally will allow more people to stay in the paid workforce or to return more easily back to the paid workforce, therefore creating a more diverse workforce and therefore increasing gender equality. I would like to now give you a bit of an overview of the guests that have been so far on the podcast Job Sharing and Beyond. First, related to flexible working, we have had Irenka Krone and Nina Prochaska. They were the first guests on the show. And they were talking about job sharing in Switzerland, and their pioneering efforts span from the creation of PTO, which stands for Part-Time Optimization Association, with its website goforjobsharing.ch, to 2 international conferences in job and top sharing, as well as a book that includes 34 international job sharing experts across 5 different countries. Maggie Pickett, CBE, from the UK, job shared with one single partner across 23 years and got promoted several times. And interestingly, twice when they shifted jobs, they were replaced by 2 full-time people because of their amazing productivity. Sarah Holzfell in the UK created the organization Genie Bee to make job sharing more accessible. And its cloud-based SaaS solution helps organizations by empowering employees to form job sharing partnerships. My next guest, Nina Strassner, is the head of D&I at SAP Germany. And she spoke about the father network they have at SAP Germany, as well as many different employee programs, such as Keep in Touch programs for employees during their parental leave. And also, all of their management positions are written out as job sharing positions. Charlotte Lockhart is the CEO of 4-Day Week Global, and she explained the philosophy behind the 180-100 rule, which stands for 100% of the income with 80% of the hours worked, but at 100% of productivity. Dan Reed and John Adams from the UK and Rob Sturrock from Australia brought the father's perspective to the podcast. Dan shared his experiences from creating a community of fathers, Career Dad UK, for men who want to be a dad and at the same time have a career. John told us about being a stay-at-home dad, a work-at-home dad, where he has his blog, Dad Blog UK, and he talked about his advocacy for flexible work as a LinkedIn changemaker. Rob spoke about his book, Man Raises Boy, working part-time, and what I loved as a quote from his book is his saying that dads can do all the care work that moms can do except for nursing. Professor Beatrix Stott, the founder of the Initiative for Women in Business at the Rodman School of Management at the University of Toronto in Canada, spoke about the program Back to Work they offer for professionals returning back to the paid workforce. Professor Anjali Bansal gave examples of her research about job sharing, returnship programs, as well as other innovative methods to increase female employment and empowerment in India. Julianne Miles, MBE, co-founder of Women Returners in England, provided an overview of the different types of returnship programs, as well as their upcoming virtual conference for returners. And beside these guests, in the next few months, I will be also welcoming guests talking about the transferability of skills learned in unpaid care work, as well as additional guests talking about flexible works, fathers and care, and returning professional support. Thank you very much for listening to my video today. If you would like to hear some of the episodes and learn more, please visit my website, emilyspath.ca, that is EMILYSPATH.ca, where you can listen to episodes as well as go to your favorite listening platform to subscribe to the podcast. I would like to say thank you again for the opportunity to the International Podcast Day to be a speaker at the event, and I really appreciate the existence of this day to learn more about podcasts from all around the world. So thank you again, and goodbye from Canada. Bye.